True. True. Esatto. Hello, Doc. Please, we are not hearing anything. I don't know whether it is from our end or from that of yours. Please. Sorry.
Yes. Good evening. Oh, let us put. Justice. Justice.
Hello, sir.
Where are the rest?
I informed them this earlier, but I don't know why are they doing. Because I told them yesterday that you will meet us today. I told them that from 5 to 7.
I've been waiting for them to come on board.
I told them, I informed them yesterday that today from 5 to 7. But I don't know why they are not participating at all.
Okay. Few minutes to 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, if we don't get them joining, I'll call it off. So, but you see, it's not helpful.
Yes.
It's not helpful. When you want to put me for the weekdays, sometimes I teach 4 hours. I'm tired.
Yes.
I'm unable to come But so this wanted to cover the two I've lost. Then we are on track of finishing because I've already set questions for them. Thought we could
Uh,
finish.
oh, okay. But
Let me
if we can
see.
have the slide so that we can go through.
Okay, I can, but
Mm.
this is a technical area. Last year, the students were telling me there are some of the questions they are seeing they weren't taught. It is history. It is
Yeah,
a technical area. It's
yeah.
about law. It's about governance.
Okay. Okay.
But okay.
Okay.
So you after in 30 minutes time I'll call it off if we don't
Okay,
get them
doc.
joining.
Okay.
It's okay. Hello, good evening. Good evening. Na mo ho te saying. Okay. Those who are fathers too, I wish you all well. When it is Mother's Day, they make so much noise. When it is Father's Day, they don't make so the same noise. Okay. This part is constitutional development in Ghana. Last year, I taught this topic without going through what is a constitution, what it does, and how important and significant it is. But this year, I'm starting with what a constitution is, what it does, its importance in relation to the nation states, and why we all need to respect the constitution. Okay, so briefly, what is a constitution? Vanessa. Hello, Vanessa. Oh, I saw Vanessa online. Justice.
Hello, doc.
Is Vanessa not online?
I also saw her, but I don't know whether she is still available or not.
She's online.
So, Vanessa, why don't you tell me what the constitution is? What about Isaac? Ike.
They are set of rules that is used to govern a country.
Like, what is the constitution?
So you have a set of rules or fundamental laws of a country that is
Okay.
based on to steer the affairs of the country.
Oh, speak up a little. Speak up a little.
As I said, it is the fundamental laws of a country
Thank you very
upon
much. I
which
take it. It's important. A constitution is the fundamental law of a country. Very important. You see, in legal of the land, it is the first among all the laws. It is the primus inter pares. It is significant among all the constitutions, all the laws. For example, if you go to the constitution under Article 11, it stipulates the laws of Ghana. The laws of Ghana as follows. This constitution, other legislative enactments, other rules, regulations, and customary law and common law. So the constitution comes first. And in law, when you go to the church harvest and the chairman's name is mentioned first and the invited guests, it means the chairman comes first before all the others. When you go to occasions and the president is there, the president's name will be mentioned first, followed by maybe the vice president, then the speaker, then the chief justice. It follows in that importance, order of importance. So the one whose name is mentioned first is more equal and more important as compared to the others. So in constitutional jurisprudence, we say the constitution is the fundamental law of the land. It is the primus inter pares. It is the first among all the laws. So what then is a constitution? Please, you see, when I set the objectives last year, students said, oh, sir, this one, did he teach us? I saw somebody commenting on it in the platform. Please, it's a technical subject area, and you are being taught as students of political science. Maybe when you finish political science and come and study law, as I did, then we will take you through the nitty-gritties of the 1982 Constitution for you to know all. Now, when I finish, I'll tell you how constitution started in Ghana. We've had about 13 constitutions since colonization. So I'll be mentioning each of these constitutions. We have a constitution in 1916, the Clifford Constitution. We have the Gettysburg Constitution in 1925. We have the Barnes Constitution in 1946. We have the Kuse Constitution in 1951. We have the Watson Constitution in 1954. We had the Independence Constitution in 1956 that ushered into the first republic in 1960. And then, after the overthrow of Nkrumah in 1966, we came to have the 1969 Constitution, where we had a ceremonial president and Buzia was the prime minister. Buzia was overthrown February 1972 by a champon, and then they also ruled up to 1978, and there was a coup by Jerry Rawlings, May 15th mutiny, and then the June 4th revolution, which overthrew them. Then we had another constitution in 1979 that brought in Dr. Hillel Liman. Dr. Hillel Liman stayed in power for about 27 months, and Jerry Rawlings came to overthrow him when we were all asleep on 31st December 1981. Then he stayed as a military leader for about 11 years. And then came 1991. There were calls when he metamorphosed to become a civilian government, where we had a referendum on 28 April 1992. And we came to enjoy the 1992 Constitution. So the 1992 Constitution is currently what is in force. It's been in force since 1992 to date, about 33, 34 years. And that is what we are living with. So today, my preoccupation will be, I want you to know what a constitution is, what it does in the life of a people, and how significant it is for the political development of a country. Then I'll fashion another time where we will look at the various constitutions this country has had, piecemeal, till we get to the 1992 Constitution. So you will see that we have a lot to do, a big task. If you don't stay course and stay with us, you say, oh, this one, did we teach? Did he teach this? So please stay on course. Okay. So I premise my discussion by saying that a constitution is a living document. It's dynamic, which at any point in time reflects the moral and political aspirations or values of the people. So a constitution is the set of the most important rules that regulates the relations among the different parts of the government of a given country, and also the relations between the different parts of the government and the people of the country. And if you read a Hosbury's Law of England, Volume 8, Paragraph 801, it defines constitutional law as that part of the law which relates to the system of government of a country. And one Professor Yardley, a British constitutional law expert, also defined constitutional law as follows. The constitution of any country must comprise the fundamental structure. So if I ask you what is a constitution, there are several definitions. I may bring one, but the four others may contain things that are not supposed to be. So get the essential nitty-gritties of a constitution. It is the fundamental law of the land. It is made up of the fundamental structures and organization of that country. And it talks about the organs of government. Further, it is the basic, essential law, whether it be civil, criminal, or private, together with those rules of conduct laid down to govern the exercise of state power by official organs of states. For example, if you look at the 1992 Constitution, the Constitution is the only document that asserts itself. For example, Article 1, 2, and 2.1 of the Fourth Republican Constitution, 1992, states that this Constitution shall be the supreme law of the land. No other law in this country can say so. No other law. A Constitution is the fundamental law of the land. It is the primus inter pares. It is the first among equals. So if you look at Article 1.2, per these provisions, the Constitution seeks to emphasize that it provides the framework for governance. Has any of you got your constitutions around you? As students of governance, you see, there are some of you, when you are going to sleep, you put Bibles under your pillow. Meanwhile, you don't know the laws on earth, but you pretend to know the laws in heaven. You don't know the laws on earth. You need to know the laws on earth. Let me pick my constitution. What does Article 1.2 says? Okay, Article 1.2 of the 1982 Constitution. I read. A person who alleges that an enactment or anything containing or done under the authority of that or any other enactment or any act or omission of any person is inconsistent or it is in contravention of a provision of this Constitution may bring an action to the Supreme Court. So if you think anything is being done contrary to the Constitution, your first point of call is to go to the Supreme Court, which may make orders either to nullify it or otherwise. So you can see that from this, the Constitution is the fundamental law of the land that governs, because it is both prescriptive and descriptive. It prescribes what to do and describes what to do. For example, one of the prescription, any person, Article 42:1, any Ghanaian who is of sound mind and has reached the age of 18 shall vote. This is a prescription. Description, Article 144, when we want to remove any person within the judiciary, these are the following steps that it must pass through. It describes the processes. So the Constitution is both prescriptive and descriptive. So if you go to the exams hall and you see Constitution is both prescriptive and descriptive, true or false, I usually don't like true or false. I'll bring answers for you to choose. So these are some of the things you should know. So the Constitution says this Constitution shall be the supreme law of Ghana, and any other law found to be inconsistent with any provision of this Constitution shall, to the extent of the inconsistency, be void. And then again, any person who alleges that an enactment or anything containing or done under the authority of that or any other enactment or any act or omission of any person is inconsistent or in contravention of any provision of this Constitution may bring an action in the Supreme Court for a declaration to that effect. So now recently, the president suspended the Chief Justice. Some people were not happy. So they went to the Supreme Court to issue a writ to stop the president from doing that. There have been about 3 or 4 injunctions or the Supreme Court has pronounced on them. So if you think anything is being done which is contrary to the Constitution, you come to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court may rule on that to that effect. So, and there's no law in this country that also arrogates to itself supremacy of powers. The Constitution is the only law that says that anybody who tries to overthrow me shall suffer death. Apart from the Constitution, no other law says so. It is only the Constitution that says so. So we can see it is powerful. It is the fundamental law of the land. It is the primus inter pares. It is the first among all equals. And it's Article 3D says that any person who by himself or in concert with others by any violent or other unlawful means suspends or overthrows or abrogates this Constitution or any part of it, or attempts to do so any such act, or anybody who aids, abets, or supports in any manner any person to overthrow this Constitution shall suffer death. No law in this country make this prescription. So you can see there is also the supremacy of the Constitution. It arrogates to itself supremacy and says that any person who tries to overthrow me shall suffer death. It is the first among equals, and it is that powerful. And then, if you read Article 3.4, it also says that all citizens of Ghana shall have the right and duty at all times to defend this Constitution. Last time I told my students, should anybody come to stage a coup, we all will have to walk to Accra naked to ask that they hand over back our Constitution to us. We don't want any military government. So So all citizens are duty bound to protect the Constitution, to resist any person or group of persons who may seek to commit any of the acts, such as overthrow the Constitution or neutralize its importance. And the Constitution enjoins us to use all the powers we have to defend the Constitution when anybody tries to suspend, overthrow, or abrogate it. And when the Constitution also even prescribes what should be done, any person or group of persons who suppress or resist the suspension, overthrow, or abrogation of this Constitution, as referred in Clause 3, commits no offense. So when the military or any person tries to overthrow this Constitution and you try to resist it, you committed no offense. That's why I say, should anybody come try to overthrow the Constitution, we all march to Accra and ask them to give us back our Constitution. It is the living document. It embodies our philosophies and aspirations. It tells us what to do and what not to do, and we are comfortable by its dictates. Very, very important. So, again, the Constitution also stipulates that when any person has suffered any punishment or loss in resisting the Constitution, that person should be awarded compensation. So you can see that the Constitution arrogates to itself the supremacy of the law by saying that nobody should abrogate me, nobody should overthrow me, and even when people try to overthrow me and you resist, you should be compensated. Very, very important. Apart from the Constitution, no other law stipulates same. Okay. One of our dutiful jurists, His Lordship Justice Datiban of the Supreme Court, who retired some time ago, in one of the decisions, gave this landmark decision about what a constitution is in Adolfo versus Attorney General and Cocoa Board, 2005 to 2006. This is what he stated. This constitutional provision in Article 1 unequivocally and authoritatively establishes a doctrine of supremacy of the Constitution. So, per Article 1 where the Constitution says that anybody who thinks anything is done in contravention of this Constitution shall bring the matter before the Supreme Court, and a declaration to that effect will be made. This talks about the constitutional supremacy. And this doctrine implies that the supremacy of Parliament is limited. For example, before we went into the election, the Speaker of Parliament suspended some 4 people for crossing the carpet. Afenyo Markin, the then majority leader, went to court and said that what the Speaker did was in violation of the Constitution and that the Constitution is supreme. So the Supreme Court upheld that decision, that what the Speaker did was illegal and that the Speaker cannot suspend the MPs, and that in so far as the Constitution says that it is supreme, anything which is done and it is in contravention of that Constitution, the Supreme Court shall make a declaration to that effect. Okay. Further, the supremacy of the Constitution also implies the assertion that constitutional clauses granting an effective indemnity against the provisions of the current Constitution, which exist under the terms of transitional provisions 1979, are also supreme. So anything which is also aligned and attached to the Constitution, like schedules,
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Hello, sir. Please, there's a question here.
Okay.
Pertaining to the Afenyomakin's issue that the Afenyomakin filed for stay of execution when concerning the Speaker of Parliament issue. I learned a stay of execution can be given when a court has ruled a case, but not whereby different arm of government has ruled a case and then you file a stay of execution in court.
But what happens in Parliament is like a court sitting. That is why the Speaker can even expel you and even issue orders against you. This is what we also call civil procedure. In constitutional parlance, all the three arms of governments they all have powers, but they are also the Constitution. They are all subservient to the Constitution.
Yes.
So when an order is made and it violates the Constitution, you can go to the Supreme Court for them to make a declaration to that effect.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So
thank you very much, Doc.
Further, in another case, Mensma versus Attorney General, the effectiveness and the supremacy of the Constitution was invoked. Mensma was an apateshi seller, and apateshi sellers formed association, and they sought to compel all apateshi sellers to join the association. Mensma said he can't join the association, so the apateshi sellers revoked her license for her not to sell apateshi again. So he went to the Supreme Court that the Constitution and Article 21 says there is freedom of association, but they are compelling her to join the association. And the Supreme Court says that there is no way by which the apateshi sellers brewers association can compel anybody to join the association. So they declared that forcing her to join an association was unlawful and an infringement on her fundamental human rights. So their decision was quashed and they were ordered to give her back her license. This is the supremacy of the Constitution. Anything which is unlawful or in contravention of the Constitution, you can come to the Supreme Court and a declaration to that effect will be made. So in this case, the majority of the Supreme Court per Aqua GSE held as follows. Article 1.2 of the 19th Constitution is the bulk, which not only fortifies the supremacy of the Constitution, but also makes it possible for any law or provision inconsistent with the Constitution to be given effect. So the Constitution says I have freedom to join an association under Article 21, my basic fundamental freedoms. Why do you compel me to join an association? You get the picture? Yes.
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 There's another question also here. What is if the apateshi sellers also have a constitution that if you want to sell apateshi, come and join our association. If you fail to join,
you can't compel anybody to join an association. The Constitution. Well, open your Constitution. The next time
if you fail to join,
look at Article 21. This is what Article 21 says. Your basic fundamental liberties. All persons shall have the right to freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of thought, freedom to practice their religion, freedom of assembly, freedom to join any association.
Okay.
You can't compel me to join any association.
Okay.
In Ward Brew versus Ghana Bar Association, that is the parent organization for all lawyers. Ward Brew said he won't join, so he went to form association of for Ghana Bar Association, and he formed association of bar practitioners. Ghana Bar Association took him to court. And the Supreme Court said that we can't compare him to join our association. He's also formed his association. Freedom of association. So that is the supremacy of the Constitution.
Okay.
Anything which is inconsistent with it, to such an inconsistency, is void. And a declaration shall be made by the Supreme Court.
Okay. Okay.
Is Vanessa back?
Thank you.
Is Vanessa back?
Oh, please.
I asked you, what is a constitution?
Sorry?
I asked, what is a constitution?
Doc, please, happy Father's Day.
Thank
Constitution,
you very much.
Fundamental human, sorry. That's the laws that governs a state or a nation.
Okay, this is too simplistic for me in the constitutional law class. It is a law that governs the state, but I want you to say something more. Add something more.
Okay. These are the fundamental laws.
Thank you very much. It is the supreme law of the land that allocates powers to the organs of state. So if you see, you go to the exam hall and you see what is a constitution, discuss the significance of a constitution to the life of a people. You should be able to tell me it is the fundamental law of the land. It allocates powers to the various organs of states, such as the judiciary, the executive, and the legislature. You can tell me that in Article 58, it creates the executive arm of government. In Article 93, it creates the legislative arm of government. And in Article 125, it creates the judiciary. So if you go and there is an essay, what is a constitution? Discuss its significance in the life of a people. You should be able to tell me something. Not bringing the fundamental law and telling me it is the law of the land alone can take 5 marks away from you. Okay.
It is the rules and regulations
that
govern a nation.
Yes. Go ahead.
So what about if someone says constitution is the basic rules and regulations govern a country, institution, or organization? That one can it be accepted?
Rules. It gives the basic rules. That is fine.
Rules and
but
regulations.
Then it is the fundamental and the supreme law which allocates the basic rules. If you are not supreme, you can't allocate powers to the other organs of states. We say the organs of government, they are all the same. The executive, the judiciary, the legislature. We say they are all the same. But one, the constitution is supreme. That is why it is able to give powers to all these organs. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's okay, Doc.
Thank you.
So Doc, can we say the constitution precedes every rules and regulations?
Thank you very much. Thank you. Go to Article 11 of the Constitution. The next time when you are coming, bring your constitution here. There are some of you. Okay, Vanessa, tell me one article in the Constitution. Justice, be ready. Isaac, just tell me one article. In the same way, when you go to a Bible class, they tell you a sword drill, tell 10 Bible verses you are able to see. Just tell me one article in the Constitution that you know. You know, I'm open some call heaven. Munimum mre was as so. Most of them some call heaven. Yeah, they are teaching us as is so. They are teaching also. Tell me one article. I critical.
Yeah, no, that's true. I critical.
Let's see a shot. See, I can bear 4 or 5 articles since we
I
started.
think, look, I would say my article, I think 89, which is the
Article what?
89.
89.
Which talks about the Council of State.
Oh, okay. Okay, that is fine. That is fine. What does it say?
It says that the Constitution shall have Council of State.
Okay, Article 89, there shall be a Council of State to cancel the president. Oh, that is fine. What again? Just any other that you know? Any other?
Look, Article 1 also talks about Article 1 also talks about the supremacy of our Constitution.
Okay, Article 1 talks about supremacy.
That's okay.
That is 1, 2. 1, 2. 1 talks about different. 1 talks about the fact that supremacy, the sovereignty of Ghana resides in the people of Ghana.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay. So from here, go and get your constitutions so that when I ask you to discuss the significance of a constitution in the life of the people, you'll be able to do a thorough analysis for me.
And also limits of power.
Yes. It defines the parameters of government, the extent to which you can go to all the organs and institutions of state. Yes. Okay. So anytime a provision in the Constitution is challenged, it is the duty of the Supreme Court to determine the authenticity of the challenge. And if you look at Article 1, 2, anything which is inconsistent with the Constitution, to such an inconsistency is void. So anything which detracts from the Constitution is void. Void means it can't be used. It is of no consequence.
Hello, Doc.
Yes, go ahead.
Doc, so then a notification of an unconstitutional rule is also done by, is it a Supreme Court or a High Court?
The Supreme Court. It is the Supreme Court that has the foremost jurisdiction in all constitutional matters.
Okay.
So you can't compare anybody to join any association. That is the Apprenticeship Brewers Association versus Mensma. Okay, and then in Faro Atlantic versus Attorney General 2, His Lordship Jatiban also means nowhere when he also stated, if even statute law is void, if in conflict with the Constitution, then contracts breaching the Constitution should not be enforced. So any contract which breaches the Constitution should not be enforced. So anything, any law, any decision which is in breach of the Constitution should not be enforced. This is why the Constitution is so fundamental in the life of the people. The first among all equals, the primus inter pares, and the fundamental law of the land. So I've commented on some of the Supreme Court decisions.
Yeah, hello, Doc.
Yes.
Yeah, so I was asking, if you say Constitution is the fundamental laws of the land, and the judiciary are the organs who are supposed to interpret the constitution, meaning what they said is final, isn't it?
Yes, what the judiciary says is final.
It's
And
final.
you
So
can
what
get
about
that from Article 125.
Oh, okay, yeah, thank you, Doc. Thank you. So what
Yes.
about if what they said is according to the population or the masses, what they said is to them is unconstitutional?
So pick your constitution and go to Article
Can we change it?
125. Go to Article
Okay.
125. This is what it says. Justice emanates from the people of Ghana and shall be exercised by the judiciary. So even when the judiciary gives a decision, it is coming from you, Ghanaians.
So even if they make a wrong decision, it is
It
coming
is coming
from
from
us.
Ghanaians.
Oh, okay, okay.
That
okay.
is why you
Thank
can
you very
appeal
much.
against the decision.
Okay.
So when a judge gives a decision,
thank you.
he does it in the name of the people of Ghana. When you are not happy, you can appeal. When you appeal, it goes to a court of appeal. First, it may start from the district court to the high court to the court of appeal to the Supreme Court, and even at the Supreme Court, you can even ask for a review, where in the first instance, 5 people will sit, and at the review, 7 judges will sit. So the Constitution, as the supreme law of the land, the Constitution is applicable at all times, and all acts and things, particularly those done for and on behalf of the Republic of Ghana, must always be tested against its provisions. And in the course of judicial proceedings, it is incumbent upon every judge to keep its provisions in mind, to assure compliance not only by the parties before it, but also by the court itself, to ensure that at all times the provisions of the Constitution are enforced. And the supremacy of the Constitution is a carryover from the 1969 and 1979 constitutions. And in Ghana, like most developing countries with a written constitution as the fundamental law, the doctrine of parliamentary sovereignty has no application. So when Afenya Markin went to the Supreme Court, the Speaker's lawyer said that Parliament is supreme and Parliament is an independent institution, but the Supreme Court said, no, you are all subject to the Constitution. So if you do anything which is inconsistent with the Constitution, we have the powers to quash it. So the supremacy of the Constitution prevails. And you can see this from Mensma versus Attorney General, and then other cases like Faro Atlantic versus Attorney General. And then there are other cases like the New Patriotic Party versus Attorney General, in where Justice Akin stated that even though Parliament has the right to legislate, this right is not without limits. Are you hearing me? The Afenyo case. And the right to enact a law that June 4th and December 31st should be declared public holidays cannot be left to linger. So when even Parliament make laws and the Constitution outlaws it, anybody can walk to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court may make a declaration to that effect. Okay. So Parliament has no uncontrolled right to pass laws on any law on the country or to do anything. If they do anything and anybody feels it is in contravention of the Constitution, that person can walk to the Supreme Court and request that it be nullified. I mentioned in Ghana Bar Association versus Attorney General, where we were challenging why somebody should form a rival legal body aside the Ghana Bar Association. The Supreme Court said that the Constitution is the fundamental law of the land. It says there is freedom of association. If there is freedom of association, then you can't compare anybody to join any association. So the Constitution has vested the power of supervising and the enforcement of the Constitution in the Supreme Court, the judges of which have sworn to uphold and defend its provisions without fear or favor. So in our country, parliamentary sovereignty is non-existent. All powers are vested in the Constitution. So these are some of the decisions the courts have made regarding the supremacy of the Constitution. Okay. So now that I've talked about constitutions, I just also want to talk about the types of constitutions we have. In Ghana, we say our constitution is written because you can pick one book that you will see all the framework that the constitution stipulates. In any country where you can pick one document and all the framework of governance can be found in, that country is said to have a written constitution. In United Kingdom, you will not find one document where all the framework of governance will be found. The various frameworks are scattered. They are scattered. So we say Britain has no written constitution. So we can either have a written constitution or an unwritten constitution. In the same way, depending on how flexible it is to amend the constitution, we can either have a flexible constitution or a rigid constitution. Please look at the typologies. Written constitution, unwritten constitution, rigid constitution, flexible constitution, and in countries like United Kingdom, where there's a monarch, we can say we have monarchical constitution. In Ghana, we have a president, so we say we have a presidential constitution. Are you with me? Hello.
Yes, sir. Hello, sir. Please, we are here.
Okay. So I've given typologies of a constitution. We have a written constitution, unwritten constitution. We also have flexible constitution. We also have rigid constitution. We have a presidential system of presidential government, as well as parliamentary system of governance. We have a monarchical system of governance, as well as maybe a prime ministerial system of governance. And in all, they may have constitutions, and the constitutions will allocate powers to the various and institutions of state.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
Please, I would wish you highlight more on the presidential and parliamentary system of government.
Okay. Let me transit and bring the slides, then we will talk about it. Give me a few minutes. Okay. Okay. So let's look at the classification of constitutions. So I've told you what a constitution is. That is the fundamental law of the land. It is the supreme law of the land. It allocates and confers authority on all the organs of states. Anything which is inconsistent with the constitution, to such an inconsistency, is void. Everything should function in tandem with the constitution. And then in concluding, I talked about the classification of constitutions. We have written constitutions and unwritten constitutions. And depending on how the amendment is flexible or rigid, we may have a flexible or a rigid constitution. We have a parliamentary constitution or a presidential type of constitution. In Ghana, ours is a presidential type. That is why people always say that the president has too much powers. The president is, we have an executive president, he's the president, he has more powers and takes more decisions. Else, we just had a conference, and once somebody came to ask, why is it that there are 3 arms of government, but the president can suspend the chief justice? That is the presidential system. Because the president is directly elected by the people, he seems to have leverage over the other organs of government. This is how the constitution has been fashioned. It's fashioned along that of the United States. So you can say that United States, Donald Trump is also has a lot wide powers and doing a lot of things, some of which are even unconscionable. And we may also have supreme and a subordinate constitution. Sometimes in a federal system, we may have a supreme constitution, and the states may also have subordinate constitutions. Very, very important. For I may describe some of these and ask you, what is this? So you need to know all of this. Don't come and say he did not teach us. Okay. Sources of a constitution. For example, the Magna Carta that came in 1215 was a key source of the Constitution of the Britain. And sometimes the Constitution may be written by the people based on their philosophies. For example, in Ghana, in 1991, a consultative assembly was put there to write a constitution, which we affirmed on 28 April 1992. Okay. This may be too legal, so I'll not go there. But all I want you to know is the typology of constitutions. So I may bring this, I may explain some of them and ask you, what is this? You have to tell me. Okay. We've done close to about 1 hour. If you have any questions, you may ask me. Oh, my colleagues. The Father's Day, are you thinking about your palm nut soup with fufu? Have you taken it already, or you are about to go and take it? You've taken it.
They are taking
it. Are there any queries or questions? Ask me.
Hello, Doc.
Yes, please.
I want to beg a leave of you. My phone is going off, and we have lights out.
Okay,
And
but
I want
yes.
to look at it.
Okay. I don't want to. I don't want to go on much. I'll end very soon. But then whatever we say, make sure you also have it from the class captain.
Okay, sir. I'm so grateful. Doc.
Okay, Justice. When are we having the next class? Now that you know what the constitution is and the various types, when can we have the next class to look at the evolution of constitutional law in Ghana? Class captain, when?
Hello, Doc.
Yes, when?
Hello, Doc.
Yes.
Good evening, Doc.
Good evening.
Please, those of us who are taking economics, the time today's class, most of our colleagues are not here because we are having economics tourism, which we started at 4 to 8.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yes, so most of them are not here.
Oh, but I have about 9. I thought I have 9, 10, so it was okay. Oh, sorry, I didn't know. But Justice, why didn't you tell me?
So on Sundays we have it at 4 to 8. That is the the economics.
Okay. I've taken notice of it, my dear.
Okay,
I've taken notice of it.
Okay, Doc.
So class captain, I'm ending now. I wanted you to know what a constitution is and the various types. Now, when can you meet? Should I exit for you to deliberate on it? Normally weekdays I get tired because I teach also in the normal stream. But because I want to start with the evolution, which we need about 4. Yes. Oh, I'm getting feedback. The feedback, please. Class captain. Justice.
Hello, Doc.
Justice, when can we meet? Or I should exist and you discuss and come back to me?
Okay, Doc.
Yeah, hello, Doc.
Yes, hello.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe we can schedule your time so that we will discuss it here.
Okay.
For everybody, if it's favorite everybody, then you know where to go.
Yes, please.
No, hello, Doc. Hello, Doc.
Yes, please.
Hello, Doctor.
Yeah, yes, go ahead.
Please, on the timetable. Yeah, on the timetable. It's supposed to be Mondays, 6 o'clock to 9:30 p.m.
6 to 9.
Yes, on the timetable.
And you're convenient, mommy. And you're convenient.
So then probably we have to look at a convenient day and time so that
you let me do the first 2. Let me do the first 2 sittings, and then the remaining 3 sittings, I'll know whether I can put myself there.
Okay, Doc.
Okay, so what about Wednesdays? Will Wednesday be convenient
Doc,
for you?
Wednesdays to the lectures.
Hello, Doc.
Yes, go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, I'm listening. Hello, go ahead. Go ahead, I'm listening. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yes.
Yeah, hello, Doc.
Yes, go ahead. I'm listening.
Yeah. You were talking about Wednesday, but I
It's
think
Wednesday, fine.
Wednesday there is a course over there.
Okay.
Yeah, Wednesday there's a course, as you are saying, 6 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Tuesday to the same thing.
Yeah, the Tuesday to early West African politics.
Okay. So it's
also
my Monday that is there.
Tuesday.
So maybe Friday.
Yeah, Tuesday. Class. Tuesday, we geography people also have class.
Tuesday, the history people have class.
Okay.
Please,
okay.
check our various timetable. If Saturday evening will be okay. If we check our various timetable.
Let me. I wanted to meet you the first two that I've met. So tomorrow, let me commit myself to coming. Is that okay? I'll come tomorrow.
Okay, Doc.
Okay.
I'll schedule a meeting tomorrow, and tomorrow I'll meet you. Okay.
Okay, Doc.
Are there any questions? If there are no questions, I'll exit here. And I'll try not to let it clash, but as much as possible, we are also under stress a little. So sometimes you accommodate us.
Please, I'm going to have the slides.
I'll meet you tomorrow. When I meet you, definitely we'll give it to you. Give it to you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.